Hey guys, I want to come on here and talk about this situation with these black women who were accused of dining and dashing at a Harlem restaurant. And the interesting thing of it is people typically associate racism with the South, not understanding that wherever cavelings dwell, there's going to be racism because this is just their pathology. I'm going to be talking more about this during my live stream today because I want to do a contextualization and go over the meaning of by any means necessary, because there's still a lot of contradiction in terms of what black people say they want and what they actually act like they want. And I want to talk about how people do things in the black community. It's evident to everyone. If it's evident to me, then other people are probably seeing it too, other outsider groups, that black people are just playing. Black people are not serious about liberation. They're simply trending. If they were, their actions would be in alignment with their words, and that's just not the case. But we live in a society where black people are failing to hold racism accountable for what it is. Black people do not have a zero tolerance for racism. They give too many passes for racism, and I'm talking about collectively. I'm not saying that all black people do this, but the majority obviously do. If the majority did not, you wouldn't see situations where this was very prevalent, especially when we get into the actual language that this restaurant person was using. I know that I've done a lot of traveling within the past year. I've done a lot of traveling to the South, and I can say that it is evident, and not just in the South, it's the same here too, but it's quite evident that there is a epidemic of black passivity. Okay. I was approached at Costco one time in the parking lot. I was driving to Costco, and this white male decided to follow me to Costco. Then he found where I parked and then came and rode up on the side of it so that he could tell me that my driving, I drove like an idiot. So I said, your existence is an idiot. Go get back in your cave before I steal your sunscreen. So we literally sat there and we went, I mostly went back and forth. I didn't even hear what he said because I was just going back and forth with him. I was just saying what I had to say, and I'm telling him to mind his own business, get his sperm count up, go back to, his cave, or, calling him a struggle gene, everything, until the dude just drove off. Now, I promise you he'll probably think twice before he goes and does that and follows another black person just to give his unsolicited, meaningless opinion that no one cares about, okay? The problem is that black people respond passively way too often, and that gives way to situations like this. I've never had these type of situations happen to me. I've had some minor situations where they'll come, mind my business, get cussed out, and then leave. But they don't really come over here and do things like this to me. Oftentimes, I wish they would, so that just because so that I could make an example, but it doesn't happen. That tells me that they know they can smell passivity on a black person just like a cheap cologne or perfume. It says several African-American women have accused staff at a Harlem restaurant for racial profiling, claiming workers falsely accused them of dining and dashing. Harlem resident Tara Fitzgibbon said this is definitely an Irish white last name. Said she visited the Angel of Harlem eatery for the first time February 10th. The restaurant was packed with guests, so Fitzgibbon and her friend made their way to the bar. Things went awry after they ordered drinks, however, as the manager approached them from behind and demanded to know how they planned to pay for their beverages. Let me tell you, I wish. Fitzgibbon said he became aggressive and accused her of running up a tab and leaving a few days earlier, but the woman said she tried to explain it was her first time at the restaurant. See, at this point, I'm not explaining anything to you. See, now I'm going to start getting irritated because why is she explaining herself? This is what I mean when I say this slave mentality. Black people act like slaves. That's just a reality. You act like slaves. This is a slave giving an explanation to the master. You're not approaching me like that, period. Things only escalated from there, according to Fitzgibbon. The manager went berserk, snatching a menu from her hand, pounding on the bar, and repeatedly accusing her of lying. Lord, let me tell you, they would have had to call white Jesus to fly down on a cloud and try to not get burned by the sun on the way just to save them, because they would never. She said he then claimed he had footage of her alleged dining and dashing and showed her video of another black woman who looked nothing like her. We were beyond embarrassed, Fitzgibbon, 45, told the Daily News. I felt dehumanized. They made us feel like we were criminals, because to them you are. As the manager continued accusing her of lying, Fitzgibbon's friend Tamara shouted, "What, do all black people look alike to you?" So that's the only thing you can say? The manager subsequently yelled for the black woman to leave, pushing and shoving them out of the restaurant. What you're not going to do is yell at me and then touch me. Okay, that's what's not going to happen, because you're going to get maced in the face the first time you come at me yelling. Because I don't have the temperament to really argue with you. I don't have that. So but you won't be putting your hands on me. We do know that. Both Fitzgibbon and Young ended filing police reports after the incident and said they were considering legal action against the restaurant. See, look, the way that this caveling decided to act is not it's not their fault, but the way that they choose to respond is their fault. You should never, you're considering legal action. You're only considering it. You're not definitively, aggressively pursuing legal action. That is a problem, okay? This level of passivity is a problem. The ladies were the only ones who felt they were racially profiled by the eatery, however. A woman who only identified herself as Christina on a Yelp review said she shared a similar experience. Christina also visited the restaurant on February 10th and said a bartender there tried to overcharge her. When she asked why, she said the woman became belligerent and accused her boyfriend of stealing alcohol. We were told that my partner had been stealing drinks from the counter, and that is why we were charged extra, Christina wrote in a review. If he had been stealing, why weren't we kicked out then? That doesn't make any sense. She added that she told the bartender she had no right to falsely accuse her boyfriend, to which the woman allegedly responded, "I'm from Europe, bitch." Let me tell you, there would not be this much boldness if there wasn't a bunch of black passivity. There would never be this much boldness if there like you would. In order to get to this point, you have to have complete and total black passivity, that to where they're calling you out your name, putting their hands on you. I don't think so. Being from Europe should make no difference in the way patrons are treated or spoken to, Christina wrote. It's eye-opening how establishments are treating locals in Harlem and what they allow their staff to get away with. I've never been treated this way in my own neighborhood. I'm not going back, nor will I recommend this establishment to anyone again. And y'all are just giving pass after pass. Angel of Harlem owner Anahi Angelone spoke with the Daily News and confirmed that the bartender in question had been suspended. She repeatedly referred to the racial profile allegations as unfortunate misunderstandings. Of course she did. And of course that's going to suffice, because again, these black women are only considering legal action. This is the Daily News article on it. And y'all can see this video if you want to. It's just a bunch of words. It says several, but it's just regurgitating the same thing. But the fact that they allowed them to sit up in here and put their hands on them, and they're only considering, but I get that these are old school 45-year-old black women. So of course they come from that civil rights era. Jesus told them to be passive in the face of racism. So now they really have to just be passive. That's really what it is. You can best believe these are Southern Christian, Baptist Christian women. And that's why they're sickeningly passive. And that's not the way of God. That's not the way of God. You think God wants you to just sit there and allow evil to run amok? Really? She's going to say, oh, we were beyond embarrassed. I felt dehumanized. But that experience only makes you consider following legal action. Because really, you should be suing them to the extent that there is no more Angel of Harlem. They should be saying the former restaurant Angel of Harlem, because they've already been put out of business and shut down just for having the audacity to think that they could approach these 3 Black women like that. That's a problem. But how are Black people responding to it? How are Black people responding to this? Are they responding with aggression and zero tolerance for racism, or are they responding passively? And in response, they're emboldening the racist people. Look, I am convinced that Jesus to Black people symbolizes their perception of that non-racist Kavli, okay? Keep in mind that that does not exist, because based on the sheer amount of them who are racist, it's not likely that you would ever come in contact with a non-racist one. But Black people want to attach themselves to a white Jesus because they think that's symbolic of the white people who may or may not be racist. Please find me the ones who aren't racist, who are going up to this restaurant advocating for you. Please find me the ones who are working hard to break down the system of white supremacy. I bet you can't find one. So our delusional mind state and our willingness to condone and allow this behavior is what's making it continue. But you guys let me know what you think. Thank you for your support. I'll see you later today in the live stream.